with OP7 out in English and OP8 running strong in Japan. What about the previous set, OP06 Yamato? Well, let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby. Today we're going to talk about the Yamato leader and how it is going with all the way up to OP08 cards. Is it still good or is it bad? So let's talk about it. But before we do, I am doing something a little different in today's deck profile video. I am instead going to go talk about the cards from 0 cost, 1, 2, 3, all the way to the end. What I used to do is I used to group them in all 2Ks, all blockers, all utility cards, all attackers, and I used to talk about them then. I did get some sort of comments saying, hey, I don't like it that way. Why don't you just do it 0 to 10 and talk about it that way? Actually, I want to ask you guys, and please let me know in the comments, do you prefer the old school ones, the old deck profile format that I do, or this one where we talk about the other one? The reason why I did it the old way was because I wanted to talk about the deck process and how I build things, because that's how I build a deck. We talk about all the 2Ks and blah, 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 blah. If you just want a list from 0 to 10, you can just look it up on the internet. I have a list there. But here I get to talk about how it's structured. So I don't know. The last guy who complained, he's like, "Oh my god, this is freaking miserable the way you do this, and you should do it the way everyone else does. Talk about 0 to 10. I don't check replies ever. Have a good day." So that guy like pussied out, and yeah, we can't ever talk to him again. He talked shit and left. What a little shitty way to do it. But anyway, let me know down below. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So yeah, Yamato. So OP06, does this leader stand up to OP7 plus 8? And I have to say, after some testing, this is actually a straight tournament sort of deck that I tried out and had a lot of fun with. So Yamato, of course, double attack, OP06, 4 life, 5000, green, yellow. Leader, activate main once per turn. If your opponent, I'll zoom in a little bit. If your opponent has 3 or less life cards, which is going to happen very often, give up to 2 of your rested Dawn to 1 of your characters. So even though this has double attack, your leader ability won't actually help you get any stronger. But at the same time, if you can predict how your opponent will react, if you add 2 Dawn on somebody in attack, if you know they're going to counter out, you can somehow make this a little bit more easier to get through, etc. So let's start with the 0 cost. Boom. We have You're the One Who Should Disappear. And by the way, this deck is all about early game and rushing with some little fun triggers. It's mostly a Sky Island package and getting through defenders. So that's pretty much the deck. So You're the One Who Should Disappear. We're running 4 of these because we have an okay amount of dead, quote-unquote, dead card 0 cost counters. So yeah, and the trigger is really good if you have 0 life as well. So trash 1 to get 3000. So we're running this because we have a lot of dead cards. Otherwise, there's no really reason to run this. Now for the 1 cost cards. Here we go. This is Flame Spit. Now this one's really good. We're running 4 of these things, and they can help you really get more power and rest up. So basically, it's a 1. You can use it during the main or counter. You are usually, the reason why you want it here is you usually want to use it on your turn to rest a 4 lower so you can attack other characters or go for game. If you use it as a counter, like I said, this is a really early game-ish deck. You want to go rush. You don't want to usually leave a Dawn up so you can counter. It's only 1 anyway, and it's not a guarantee your opponent will have a 4 or lower cost character to even rest. But the trigger is really good. The trigger is really good. So that's why you run this, the trigger, and because you can go in for the kills for some shots there. So running 4 of those. Next up, running 2 L Thors. Give up to one of your leader or opponent's 2. Then if you have 2 or less life, give that 2000 power. So this is a counter that's actually decent. It's a 1 for potential 4000, aka radical beam, etc. And the trigger is not terrible. KO up to one of your opponent's characters, equal to less to their life total. So usually it's going to be a 5-4 or 3 if this thing trigger ever goes off. But you mostly want it just for the extra, like, oh my god, I have like this ace on the field and I don't want it to be KO'd. My opponent will not, because usually it's like red or something. You would expect to have the radical beams. But here it's like a radical beam here in that sense as well. Okay, now for the 2 costs. Now, going off of the Sky Island package, we have Shura running 4 of them, 2-2-1, top 5, 1 Sky Island, add it to your deck, the rest of the bottom, and the trigger is very powerful, very, very good card for the Sky Island package. You're on 4 of these. Now we're going to run not a Sky Island, but a really good staple for really aggressive yellow cards with an amazing trigger. So OP06, 2-3-1, On play, add up one of your leader or characters gains banish, and wouldn't you know it, it works really well with Yamato. So if you're able to, play this Nami out and get some really nice Dawn on Yamato, double banish, very powerful. But it's really good on any of your other stuff, as mentioned, the Ace or even the Hody Jones. You can go ahead and do that. Also, the trigger is one of the most powerful ones in the deck. Doesn't have any other requirements other than has to be a 5 cost or less, but you KO them straight out. This is so good. Your opponent hates to see this. Hates to see this. Next up, we're running some more events here. This is Demonic 9 Aurasaur style Asura Demon 9. Flashes from OP07, so yeah, we're getting more support they can use. So 2. Up to one of your leader characters gains 2,000, so it is an upgrade on Dawn to power. Then rest up to one of your other characters that's 3 or greater. If you did, you rest up 1 to the 5. So once again, this is used to close out the game. If this other one, if the Flame Spit was used for knocking out a 4 cost, then this one knocking out, well, resting. This one's resting a 5 for a little bit of a greater sort of a cost here, but it goes off. And the trigger is once again good. So once again, a lot of triggers help you stay alive a little bit longer, and it helps you go for game and all that good stuff. So these are the 2Ks that we are running. Next up, it's the 3 cost cards. We have Holy, of course, 3/5/1. Nothing crazy about this. It matches up really well with Ohm, and of course, you can use it to search for with the Shura 2 cost. Nothing special to say about this card other than staples. Let's go. Next up, we have an Izu, a really good green card, 2K, 3/3/2 on play, rest a character. So this has a lot of utility for the 2K or resting to go for a targeted attack. Really good too. So those are our 3Ks, 3 costs. Now for the 4 cost, we have the Ohm, which I talked about. You can use it to search out Holly. If you already have a Holly in hand, doesn't matter. Maybe you can grab another one. And when you have 2 or less life, he gets 1,000 power. So it's a really good value, an amazing card. Also comes with a counter. So really just good, solid card. If you're running any sort of Sky Island, I think you always want 4 of these 4 Hollies. It just works out really good. Now, for a nice OP07 card, 2K Frankie from Egghead Strawhead. 4/5/2, so nothing special, but the trigger is draw 1 card. So you always draw 1 card no matter. But if you have 1 or less life, you play this card. So it's really good too. It's a much better Satori. Of course, the requirement is you have to have 1 or less life. So much better. And you can't search for it as a Satori, so also that. Now we're going to move all the way to a 5 cost here. We have the Aces, Whitebeard, ST13, 5/7/0, 0 cost, which is why you want to use a lot of this other stuff. And I did mention that you want to use the 0 cost for trashing out 0 counter characters, but you can also use it for like these if you're not using it. You do have a lot of events, so if you have like multiple of these, you usually only need 1 or 2 of each. You don't need like 4 or 5, so it's another good target for this as well. Okay, so yeah, the Aces will help you swing early as soon as it can come out. 2 or less life, go some rush, endgame, running 4 of these. Next up, you're running more Sky Island. Satori is searchable from Shura, so you can get that 2K out. And a decent trigger, I would definitely, remember, you have a lot of crap cards. It helps out a little bit, but if you don't need them, trash them out to get out the Satori on a 2K, so really good card. These are 5 cost cards. Now we're going to go all the way to just 7. That's right, the last 4 cards of the deck. These are Hody Joneses, 7/8/0, non-searchable. However, has rush and on play, rest up to a total of 2 of your characters' dons or characters. Really good effect, really good effect. Your opponent wants to maybe counter out with 2 radical beams. Hey, guess what? You could freaking rest 2 of their dons, or 1 don and 1 character, or 2 characters. Then you add up to 1 from the top of your life to your hand. It doesn't matter if you have 0 life, you can still do this. So Hody Jones, really good for taking things out. Amazing. You can pair it up with Onami, but at this point in time, if you're usually throwing out a Hody Jones, you're going for life. You don't want to actually use it for banish. You want to finish the game off, so you want to put as much Dawn as you can. So if you get a Hody Jones out and you get this this one right here out and the Demon Asura, you're going to be buffing Hody all the way up to 11, and then you can put 1 more Dawn on him, and then you can rest those other 2. So this is like one of your like finishing moves right here, basically. And of course, you have the smaller version of this, which is really nice as well. So yes, Hody Joneses to go for life, etc. And that's really the deck. It's nice and quick and simple. It is easy to understand. I guess the only things you need to really worry about is when do you want to take life, go for life. Obviously, you want to take life if possible when you have multiple characters on the board. Your opponent has multiple characters on the board because you have triggers like Nami. You have other things that rest things. So if you have like this character is a little defensive, you got these nice plus 3Ks, you have the 2Ks, etc. You want to just not take any hits. You want to scare the opponent into doing a lot of countering out with the double attack. They might just take it to refill their hand, but that's okay. You're going towards the end. Scare them with Onami. Go to the end game rush with aces and these guys, Hody Jones. Flood the board early with Ohms and Hollies. It's a fun deck. It's very, very aggressive, even though this leader itself doesn't have rush. It's not a red deck. It's just really aggressive with how much resting you do with green, how much life manipulation and triggering you do with yellow, and then the double attack that's scary. And once again, hey, I did say that you're gonna, go for Hody Jones plus the demon to get him to 11,000. Don't forget you have the leader ability to add 2 more on him if you're going for life as well to get to 13,000. Then the last on to 14,000 straight to their face. They're not defending that. It's really fun and crazy. So that's it for the Yamato deck. It's been good. This is a tournament deck, so I didn't make this one myself. And please let me know down in the description if you guys like this sort of deck profile review where we go 0 to 1 and it's a little more chaotic, or I say, hey, these are all the event cards, these are the 2Ks, these are the attackers, these are the utilities. So either way, I don't mind. It's just, what do you guys want? And I'll continue doing that way. I'll also do a poll because not everyone's gonna look at this video, but hey, let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.